My fellow gamers, welcome back to the Roottrees Are Dead. It's Roottreemania time. Last episode, we found out that the oldest man of the Roottrees was married to a statue. Nah, he just had premarital sex with her. Or marital, but not married to each other. He had an infidelity, okay? Who didn't in this era, I suppose. Sam Madsen dropped by her house. She dropped off, like, all kinds of garbage, and I'm excited to read all of it. Some of you did, before we do that, some of you mentioned I did not search Jane Doe Roottree. I did, for the record, and I just want to make sure that I made that very clear. All this does was bring up the Anonymom. So there's really nothing else to search for Jane Doe Roottree here. So let's dive into this stuff, all right? I like pictures. Pictures are good because they show me people, and that is nice. Ooh, okay. And this is an exciting one. This photo was given to you by Sam Madsen. A woman named Regina Clementine, does sound like somebody that Phoebe on Friends would have named herself as, and claimed that her husband has confessed he thinks he's a Roottree. Details of this case can be found in your evidence. Stuart is the older boy wearing a vest. The woman in the photo is Mary Beth Clementine, a singer who may have had an affair with Miracle Roottree. Okay, Miracle, you dog. We have no idea who your kids are, but this is obviously very exciting because what this maybe implies is that Miracle is the possible infidelity of 1949, whereas this is... I mean, I don't know, right? I don't know who you are. There's a chance that this is just frickin' Clark Rafferty, right? Because if he's still important... And maybe I just do... Although we don't have an updated picture of Clark. This is our updated picture of Clark. Poor guy, honestly. Okay, so this does make me feel better about the Miracle Roottree infidelity here. And then this means that you are Regina Clementine. What a name, honestly. Regina Clementine. That's you. And you look like you're a singer, right? So you are probably a musician. Or you just love singing. I don't know. You could be a churchgoer. I mean, Miracle was a churchgoer, but I mean, this is pretty... She also got a Clementine on the guitar. I mean, you're definitely part of a band. Let's learn more about you. No, nothing. Okay. That seems a bit much. Nothing for Regina Roottree either. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. How about Stuart Clementine? Is there a chance Stuart? Let's start with Stuart Roottree. Nothing. Let's try a Stuart Clementine. Clementine isn't that popular of a name. And you managed to find a Stuart Clementine listed as one of the many names on an emergency services website in New Orleans. Seems he's a police officer and has no web presence. I mean, look, brother. Let's just humor it, okay? This is Stuart. Technically Clementine, because he doesn't know he's a Roottree. You're a police officer, and you're the boy in the vest. I will say that he's, like, old as hell. I guess this would be Stuart Roottree, the older boy wearing a vest. He's also wearing a vest, but I'm understanding that's not what they meant. It would be the older of the little boys wearing a vest. But you're a police officer. Sure, brother. Sure, we know nothing else about you. We could try to search more in New Orleans, I guess, but... I got no clue there. How about the Clementines? I didn't know if maybe they had a band, okay? Maybe it was a band called the Clementines. These are the things to search. Regina Clementine email. Okay, I mean, there's a lot going on here. Oh, frick, her husband, Stuart. From 6 pieces at prodigy.us to genealogygenie at prodigy.us. This is all the information I have about Regina Clementine, née Salazar. So is that her birth name is Salazar? Regina Salazar? This is the most evil name I've ever heard. From New Orleans, Louisiana, and her husband, Stuart Clementine. She wrote me a letter about a month ago. Apparently, the Roottree lawyers went after her since then. By the time I received her letter and called her, she told me she couldn't cooperate anymore. Her husband, who is a police officer and never knew his father, told her he thought he might be a Roottree, but he's estranged from his family and didn't want to pursue it because he had no proof. She wrote to me behind his back. Normally, I wouldn't be so sure, but she had some credible facts. Some of it I've been able to confirm. Stuart's mother was named Mary Beth Clementine. Okay. She was pretty well known in the 30s to 50s, a singer who went on tour to a lot of churches. Makes a lot of sense. You can look her up online. She was a pretty big proponent of adoption. Okay. And then this is a photo of Mary Beth Clementine. So Mary Beth Clementine... Hold on. Why is her name Regina now? I'm getting screwed up. Give me back to my evidence. This is Mary Beth Clementine. A woman named Regina Clementine came to her and claimed her husband has confessed he thinks he is a Roottree. So, I understand. Wait a minute. I don't understand. So, you two had a kid. You were married to a Stuart Clementine. Is that accurate? But you guys had an infidelity with another frickin' Stuart Clementine. So that would be you, potentially. I mean, you guys didn't split up that we know of yet. Unless they split up as a result of all this happening. I'm trying to piece together whether you're Stuart Clementine, the kid, and I think you probably are. So you're Stuart Clementine, also Roottree at that point, but I don't know whether or not whose name you are, right? You're a student K through 12. You end up married to Mary Beth Clementine. I forget whether or not we're supposed to put maiden names on here, right? So you're actually Regina Salazar. And you're Stuart Clementine. You give birth to another Stuart Clementine and Mary Beth, who we don't know you're Regina. Frickin' hell. Okay. You're Regina, you're Mary Beth. You're Mary Beth Salazar, also known as Clementine. That got so confusing for no good reason, man. That makes this guy the husband, which would be you. Okay. That seems good to me, but it's not correct, right? It's not correct because this would have locked in if it was these four. Okay. Let's re-look at this one more time. Information I have about Regina Clementine, née Salazar, and her husband Stuart Clementine. Stuart and Regina marry. Her husband, who is a police officer, never knew his father. Told her he thought he might be a Roottree. He's estranged from his family, wouldn't write back. Stuart's mother was Mary Beth Clementine. Let's start here. Singer most popular in the years between 1942 and 1959, traveled around the country performing in churches. Her repertoire a mix of religious and popular songs, although she recorded a few records lost to time. Only one you find mentioned was a cover of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. I'm having flashbacks to my youth. Released under the label New Edison. One thing Mary Beth was known for was her adoptions. She was listed on many sites that mention adoption. In the history of adoption, she adopted 2 children in the late 1940s, Stuart and Mark. So those are the 2 kids in the photo. Yeah. Also spoke as an advocate for the benefits of adoption in front of the United States Congress in 1949, who were convening to debate and discuss the then recent first adoption of an African-American child to a white family in the U.S. I love that this game takes every possible controversial topic and throws it in here. It's like, oh, you don't like gay people? The entirety of the Roottrees Are Dead is going to be based around gay people. Oh, yeah, infidelity, racial marriages. How about Roottreemania? Let's touch on all of it, okay? I love it, brother. I absolutely love it. Developers kind of based. There's drug addiction. I mean, it's just they just touch every topic. I'm waiting. We need an abortion. Oh, wasn't there an abortion in the first one? Maybe not. We need an abortion, man. that could be the worst. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. Anyway, specifically, there was detail going through the system to adopt Stuart. Her other son was adopted later, and according to a single line on one adoption site, under unusual circumstances. Surfaced that Mary Beth had been divorced twice, both times to her manager Sterling. This ended her career with the religious audience she had been catering to, and she faded into obscurity and died of a stroke at 76. So you're telling me that she frickin' adopts the name Salazar. But her name is Salazar. She adopts the name Clementine as a... I guess maybe your name is Sterling Clementine, your spouse. And it makes sense that would be you. But then I think it makes sense that Stuart was a police officer, and then this would lock in if this was correct, but it's not. Because it's not correct. Because you are Regina Clementine. But we don't know Regina's maiden name. And we also now know... We need to know more about the other kid. So theoretically, Mark Clementine would be a name. Probably searching Mark is not going to do anything. I got more that I want to do on this list, but this is important. Crocodile Clementine. Come on, man. Listed on a website titled The Infamy List, it's a massive list of criminals known for odd crimes. Although Mark's nickname would imply he hails from Florida, a lot of others on the list come from there, or Australia, Mark is listed... I love that they just slip in, like, yeah, because criminals are from Florida. Mark is listed as being from LA. Pretty big entry, he seems like a real piece of work. Very small note about him being the basket baby of 1950, but most everything else comes from his adulthood. Lost his job in 1975 as a pilot for a regional airline after he tried to board the wrong airline's plane. He was drunk, charged with trespassing and assault. In 1982, he was arrested for transporting smuggled animals over the Canadian and Mexican borders for an illegal reptile supplier. Apparently quite successful for the first 4 years. Caught when he had to make an emergency landing in Portland after he was bitten on the foot by a crocodile, hence the nickname. Apparently the Portland Telegraph is credited as having given him this nickname. His mugshot from the incident has been added to your photos. Released on parole. Freedom didn't last long. Arrested in 1994 in San Diego for violating it in an attempt to visit his daughter's graduation. He famously punched the principal, a man named Billy Sims. What the freaking hell, brother? This is insane. So it makes sense he would be split up with his wife. You were a pilot, I guess, and your name is Mark Clementine. So you're Mark Clementine, and I can't wait to see the mugshot. I've never been more excited. Yeah, sounds about right. I'm good with it. I love it, to be honest with you. We're going to lock in something here. Brother, come on. You're telling me that we're not locking any of this? Unless... I mean, you would also be this guy? That's different hair, though. You got red hair here. But that makes a lot of sense for you to have red hair, because didn't Miracle have red hair? Well, not really. Miracle had blonde hair. So that, I guess it makes more sense for you to be Mark. And then you to be Stuart. But that does not seem correct either. I suppose his most recent job was being an illegal animal supplier. Is criminal on here? Because that could be an interesting... I mean, you were a driver, I suppose, for illegal goods. supplier? Is that a possible? He was in retail. Retail for illegal animals. Arrested for smuggling reptiles into the U.S. I mean, I feel like that there's some loaded questions here, for sure. I think that pilot is still probably correct, right? Just because. But we should have locked in somebody. So why is this not locked in? Because Miracle is a guarantee. We know that hands down. I feel like I can feel really good about Mary Beth Salazar. I kind of want to look at this again. So Stuart and Mark are who she adopted. Because they're not blood relatives. They're adopted. Well, wait a minute. That does change things. One is a blood relative. One is adopted. But it can't... Well... Is this implying that... No, because you were divorced twice. You were divorced twice. It has to be here. This has to be Miracle. It has to be Miracle. And you're not... You're the original Miracle. There's no way that there's any other... You're Miracle Roottree, the preacher. It has to be. It has to be. And you're Mary Beth Salazar. She was a advocate for both times to her manager Sterling. Let's do a quick search just to confirm this one. Sterling Salazar? Sterling Clementine. I don't know where the hell Clementine came. I mean, maybe I guess it's just her maiden name. So you are Mary Beth Clementine, then. This might lock it, man. This might lock it. And you're Sterling Salazar. But I feel like that this... What does nay imply? Google. What does nay imply... What does nay mean in an obituary? Indicates the woman's birth surname. Yeah, okay. So she married Sterling frickin' Clementine. And you are Mary Beth Salazar. As a 1,000% guarantee. And then that means that you guys are a little weird. Well, Regina is not a Clementine. You're a Clementine by marriage only. Let's search this. Yeah, I think that's fair. New Edison we're probably going to get something for. Small record label based in LA, existed for a few years in the 40s, raced to release cover records of songs gaining in popularity. According to a website about the history of recorded sound, it was named after its founder, Sterling Edison. Biggest claim to fame is being sued in the estate of Thomas Edison in Edison Records vs. Edsel. You find a few references to New Edison and Mary Beth Clementine on sites about old records. One collector says that the Holy Grail is a re-release of the Old Rugged Cross, and says that the first edition was originally published before she legally changed her name. How'd you get to Clementine? Another site that the claims the police had to be called to New Edison Records after his owner, Sterling Edison, got in a physical altercation leading to a divorce. No cited sources or evidence, and the site's content seems to be used or submitted. There's an email address at the bottom in the phrase, "Send me your stories about old Hollywood, I'll add them to the page." So you're Sterling Edison, which is fine, but it's still frickin' locked nothing, which is driving me insane. This seems important for sure. Popular hymn that's been covered by many, many artists. Okay, fair enough. How about Edison Records vs. Edsel? Edison Records was the first record label named after Thomas Edison. History of the company seems very unimportant except for potentially a lawsuit they filed in 1949, Edison v. Edsel. Website about lawsuits mentions this as a fun case because the name of the lawsuit is actually the biggest problem for the person being sued. The record producer who calls himself Edison was immediately outed as not actually being named Edison. What the hell, brother? Edsel was a German last name at the time of the founding of the company. The U.S. was at war with Germany. Company's founder immediately settled to try to get the case to go away, but the damage was done. So you are Sterling Edsel. This has been the longest frickin' ride to get here. And none of it mattered is the best part. But you're Sterling Edsel, and it's got to be you, brother. I mean, it has to be you. And then your kids are Stuart and Mark. But at this point, they're technically Sterlings. This is Stuart Sterling. Or Stuart Clementine. We don't know what the kids went by. I mean, technically, Stuart might be a Roottree, but we have no idea whether he is or not. Let's search this real quick. I guess we did, right? Good point. So then if we search Sterling Edsel, it's still nothing, which is fair. But that makes sense, I think, now. So then Mary Beth Clementine, known for her adoptions, but her name was changed. Other son was adopted later. So Stuart is definitely first on that set. This is Stuart, and that's you. This is Mark, and that's you. And then it says in here, Stuart's mother was named Mary Beth Clementine, very popular. I know for a fact she came to Butler County a few times. Regina said that Stuart told her they always seem to spend a lot of time at the Miracle Church. Sent me a photo to prove that's who that she's who she says she is. I've attached it. Please consider saving a tree and not printing this email. The hell? Okay, it's fine. The 90s were different. Regina said Stuart told her a lot. Okay, so you're Regina Clementine, nay Salazar. Wait a minute. I'm stupid. It's not Mary Beth Salazar. It is Mary Beth Clementine. This is Regina Salazar. Yeah. I'm still concerned because I didn't lock stuff in, but I have a feeling that it's because the jobs are weird here. So Mary Beth Clementine. Yes. Very good. Who knew it would take the entire episode to figure this shit out? Regina Clementine, née Salazar, and her husband, Stuart Clementine. Okay. We're so back. From New Orleans. Okay. And Stuart Clementine is not really anywhere. It seems he's a police officer. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But he is in New Orleans, so that seems positive to me. Her husband, who is a police officer, never knew his father. Told her he might be a Roottrie. So, are you, like, technically Stuart Roottrie at that point? I can't make you a Roottrie. So, no, you will not be. Why did this not lock? Mary Beth Clementine, a musician. She's also a spokesperson, and that was kind of her last job. Public speaker. Feels really good to me. Because that kind of was her last job. Mary Beth Clementine. A singer. Most popular, yada yada. Became a spokesperson for the benefits of adoption. Been divorced twice, ending her career with the religious audience she had been catering to, and while she performed occasionally since then, she mostly faded into obscurity. I mean, is there a sense that we could call her a preacher? I guess no. It really feels like this would just lock in if I had it right. I'm gonna keep you as a musician. I have no other reason to believe otherwise. Okay, I mean, that was a lot just to get to frickin' Mark Clementine. Stuart is the older boy wearing the vest. Woman in the photo is Mary Beth. That makes sense that would be... I mean, that's not Miracle. Because Miracle has bad vision. So that can't be Miracle. I think you have to be Stuart. You have to be Sterling. This all makes sense. What the hell's in here? This is gonna be a mess, okay? This is gonna be a gosh darn mess. You were given some partial staff records to cross-reference by Sam Madsen. These records are based on old tax mailing information and only details the employees that work directly for Roottree or in their corporate office. The many laborers on their farms and in their factories are not listed. You're not sure how helpful it will be except for cross-referencing guys' secretaries and visits overseas. Spider searching people just because they are listed in these books will likely be very time-consuming and a waste of your time. Oh my god, brother. This is a lot. This is a lot. So Zach Morden, Ernest Madsen Jr., the office staff, Edward Roottree, Lloyd Edward? Who the hell is Edward? I straight up do not remember an Edward Roottree. Oh, it's Edward Clancy. Sorry. Yeah, the lawyer. Yeah. I remember you now. Lloyd Carpenter. I mean, I'm gonna start searching these people, right? Lloyd Carpenter. Nothing. Brilliant. There's also a lot... I mean, this is another idea, man. Modern Music Monthly. Mary Beth Clementine. Yeah, okay. Reviewed and advertised many times. Most popular recording was her release of He's Got a Whole World in His Hands, New Edison. Very positive review. Compliment on her voice, tone of guitar. Nothing to say about Mary Beth. It's not really important. Okay. Starlet. She ain't gonna be in here. Silver Screen Magazine. She ain't gonna be in here. Teen Blast? No shot. Okay. That's the end of that. Stuart could be in Mark Clementine? Yeah. Oh yeah, we forgot about Sims as well. Sims' wife Carla. Wait a minute. Colleen Webb, Mark's ex-wife. Okay, I mean that's huge. I'm just gonna keep on adding people that I know are not gonna lock in. Colleen Webb. Brilliant. Just another person that doesn't matter. It has to be these two are not correct, and it's gotta be the job on you. That's the only thing I can think, man. You were a driver. You were a actor. You were... It's gonna tell me something. It's gonna tell me something in here. She and he met when they worked for an airline. He was a drinker, but often had mood swings. Charged with assault of a fellow pilot in 1975, lost his job, they divorced. The time she was pregnant with their second daughter, she felt the need to get out before things got worse. Left him, moved to San Diego to live with her sister, told her oldest that her dad had to fly planes for the army. She raised them both by herself, and although she never went through the trouble of changing their names legally, they used the Webb name so no one would connect them to her ex-husband. So we have two kids here. Euroweb. It's two daughters, Euroweb and Euroweb. I'm gonna do a search on Colleen Webb here, just because clearly this goes down a track, and I don't know what that track is. Nothing. That seems very reasonable. But you were Colleen Clementine. No, you were Colleen... Yeah, you would have been Colleen Clementine. Okay, come back to the periodical for a second. We haven't searched Crocodile, man. Sims' wife, Carla. I can't imagine that actually matters, but let's go back to Crocodile Clementine. Massive list of criminals. Basket Baby of 1955 or 1950. I feel like we should search. A few stories about true stories focus on religion. Mentioned in 1950, gospel singer named Mary once found herself dealing with a real-life baby Moses situation. Apparently, she was a rather prominent supporter of the concept of adoption. Someone decided to test how much. They left the baby on her doorstep in a basket. According to the sites, she adopted him without question, raised him as her own son. Although it wasn't national news, in many circles he became known as the Basket Baby, and he even went on tour with her as he grew up. None of the websites state who the woman or baby were, likely to prevent people from looking into it. From context, you know it's Mary Beth Clementine, who would be later shunned due to her personal life, and her son Mark, who would later be known as Crocodile Clementine. Basket Baby. Yeah. that's fine. I mean, it's a peculiar situation. I feel like you should have had adoption in here. But I guess it's fine. It's like you did adopt the kid. So it's weird to me that would not do that. I kind of want to come back to here and just because I feel like that Mark Clementine is still an interesting name in some of this stuff. He ain't going to be in the Butler County Times. There's no reason to. He ain't going to be in Business Watch either. We also know that there's this Sims guy. Let's look up the Sims guy again. So Billy Sims. Billy Sims is the principal of Sandstone Canyon High School, who had his 15 minutes of fame in 1994 when he was punched by Crocodile Clementine. Pretty much every news organization from Trustworthy to Tabloid seems to have their own take on the altercation. We're definitely going to search this in Piketty. It wasn't the punch that captured the nation's attention, however. Instead, it was Billy Sims' matter-of-fact response to the threat and his comments afterward, as heard in the now-famous audio clip from someone recording. Billy saw Mark hop onto the graduation stage and said, "Sir, you'll want to sit down or we'll have a problem." At that point, Crocodile reportedly sucker punched him in the face. Billy apparently only slightly did said, "Alright, sir, I guess we'll have a problem." Clementine tried to throw another punch, but Sims anticipated it and performed a move that spectators described as a wrestling move mixed with a backward somersault, which immediately brought both men to the floor. Sims straddling Clementine, provocative, keeping him neutralized. As security arrived, the recording captured someone asking, "How'd you do that?" And Sims' response is famously, "Trust me, I'm as surprised as anyone." This seems so useless, brother. It's a high school in San Diego, sure. I mean, I just can't imagine this is even remotely useful to me. But take me back to the periodicals. We're going to go to Piketty. Mark Clementine, kind of sleazy, so they're not afraid to publish a few details that more reputable news publications normally won't. Sure, once arrested for throwing a Molotov cocktail at a company found to be testing their products on animals. According to police paperwork, his bail was paid for by Toasterito Jacobson. Toasterito. Interviewed other students that were at the event to find out if anyone knew anything. Word going around was that Mark Clementine showed up because his daughter Mary was graduating that night. So you are Mary Webb. Sorry, I'm on the wrong side. You're Mary Webb. Unknown occupation. You're a student K through 12. We have no idea who your sister is, but we at least got some information. Toasterito Jacobson. Fuegos Fiesta, regional Mexican food chain, held a competition in 1993 that offered free meals to anyone that legally changed their name to Toasterito. I just can't, brother. Used to be named Lucinda, okay? Lucinda Jacobson. That does not help. That does not help. Lucinda Jacobson, periodical. Piketty would know about this. News Time would know about this. Business Watch, there ain't no shot. This page hasn't been updated. Why in the world is this showing up here? Crime Blotter article about Edith Jacobson that also mentions a Helen Roottree and Lucinda Jacobson. What the hell? Edith and her sister Lucinda were arrested for trespassing at the Miracle Congregational Church. They were caught by Helen Roottree, who was there at the time while her husband Miracle was away preaching. What the hell? Okay, Edith Jacobson? Who are you? Edith Jacobson arrest. Okay. Just the crime blotter article. I mean, this is what I'm supposed to find, but what value do you have? There's no Jacobsons in the original set. Who the hell is Edith Jacobson? I mean, frankly, Helen Roottree was fairly useless too. There's so much to unpack still. There is seriously just so much to unpack still. Was away preaching, aka getting it in Mary Beth Clementine. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Lucinda Jacobson. So Edith and Lucinda were arrested for trespassing at the church. Lucinda ends up paying the bail for Mark Clementine. Something seems off about that to me. I mean, there's something like real weird there. I'm not alone in thinking that, right? Something is not right there. Why were you so invested? Let's jot down some notes, okay? So this is going to be the Clementines. So we know that Mark Clementine, Crocodile Dundee, was bailed out of prison by Lucinda, that's Tostarito Jacobson. Her and sister Edith Jacobson were arrested trespassing in Miracle's church. I mean, just like wild, I think. In Butler County, yeah. I mean, I don't think that you're going to be anywhere else in here. There's no reason, unless this has... I mean, Tostarito would definitely show up in here. Tostarito. I don't know how you spell that, brother. How do you spell Tostarito? Tostarito. Fuego's Fiesta. Free meals for life. I mean, there's no shot that this goes anywhere else, right? Okay. Tostarito Jacobson used to be Lucinda. But then Lucinda Jacobson went nowhere. Well, Lucinda Jacobson allowed us to get to... It allowed us to get to Butler County Times. Yeah. But maybe useless. I have no idea. Okay, I think that we end there. We obviously have a lot more to unpack in the company records. Not to mention that there's so much. Oh my god, brother. There's so much. There's 5 pages of this crap. Oh, we're cooked. We're so cooked. This is going to be the rest of our life is sifting through this. So hey, come back next time and we'll sift through it some more. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.